Good day to you one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Today, I'm reacting to the startling announcement that Sam Fender made recently when he announced that he is to take a short break from touring to look after his mental health. He wrote this brilliant message on his social media, which explains that he's burnt out. And I'm going to talk about that because I think what he's doing is remarkable. Justin Hawkins rides again. Sam Fender wrote this, it seems completely hypocritical of me to advocate discussion on mental health and write songs about it if I don't take the time to look after my own mental health. I've neglected myself for over a year now and haven't dealt with things that have deeply affected me. It's impossible to do this work on myself while on the road, and it's exhausting feigning happiness and wellness for the sake of business. My friends and colleagues have been worried about me for a while, and it's not going to get better unless I take the time to do so. I'm eternally overwhelmed by the love and support of our fans, and I hate to let you down, but the state of my well-being is starting to affect everything I do, including my performances. I refuse to go out there and not give it my all, every time, as you deserve nothing less. Let's talk about those first two paragraphs. First of all, I covered a Sam Fender song very early on in this channel, and I had no idea who he was. I was actually confusing him with Sam Mendes, I think, at the time. And I was completely blown away by it, and part of it was like him as a lyricist and how stark and vivid the sort of imagery of him growing up in 17, going under was. And I was really impressed with it, and I just thought that's a proper songwriter.
I was far too scared to hit, but I'm hitting in a heartbeat now. That's the thing with anger, it begs just to be.
But the thing is, one of the things that resonates about it is how honest it is, really. So I think what he's talking about here is sort of the message that's there for all to hear in his songs, is something that he needs to, act in the same way that he speaks, if you see what I mean. Like he needs to back up his assertions about mental health and so on by actually doing some work on himself. I think it's really admirable. And I think it takes real courage to sort of admit that, even if you're in a position like he's in, like he was filling stadiums, his favourite stadiums as well, like he's often talking about playing at St James's Park, which is the Newcastle United football stadium. It probably means a lot to him. So he's in this position that a lot of people probably consider to be quite privileged, and they see him as a lucky guy who's decided what his life's going to look like and is just achieving those objectives seemingly effortlessly. But it's taken it out on him, and I think it takes courage to sort of say to like the public who probably don't recognise how challenging his life is. And, it actually takes courage to not be judged and say, like, I'm stopping because this isn't making me happy, I suppose. When he says he's overwhelmed by the love and support of our fans, I mean, I reckon that's probably, when you have a work ethic like that and you have like an audience that matters to you, part of the reason why you carry on touring is just because you have to sort of reciprocate the affection that you get from your fans, really. And it's heartbreaking to not be able to deliver. But as he says at the end of that second paragraph, I refuse to go out there and not give it my all every time, as you deserve nothing less. So he's not going to take his foot off the pedal and do some half-assed shows. He's just going to work on himself so he can hit back stronger. Anyway, he goes on. As a result, I'm sadly going to have to take some time off the road. We are cancelling our 3 remaining headline shows in the US and pulling out other shows with Florence and the Machine, as well as Life is Beautiful festival. I'm not quite sure where that festival is. I'm also especially sorry to everyone who's been waiting for news on the rescheduled UK record store dates, but the decision has been made to cancel these shows. Hopefully we can work something out for those ticket holders. You'll hear from us soon so I can come back stronger. I like the way the decision has been taken to cancel their shows. It sort of it personifies the decision itself and takes it away from him, and I think it's important to do that, really, because it implies that the machine around him is also concerned for his health and his development as an artist as well. The last thing you want is him to come back with a really bitter kind of begrudging second or third, well, it's not his second record, the next follow-up record, you know. So he's definitely doing the right thing for himself as an individual and also as an artist, you know. Super excited for Australia in late November and everything to come in 2023. St James's Park, man, fucking unbelievable. So yeah, he's still excited about that. And that's great. I think you have to preserve a bit of that excitement. Something that Steven Tyler said is he's always saying that there's like an inner child that you need to sort of nurture and nourish and keep alive when you're in that position, sort of being an entertainer of that caliber. You've got to hold on to the sort of innocent love of performing. And as soon as you start to lose that, it's you do have a decision to make. Personally, it happened to me. Like, I was definitely burnt out back in the day, and I carried on until I just couldn't take it anymore and wanted to stop altogether. I ended up having 5 years off from the darkness, which is avoidable, I think. You know, with some... I mean, it's hard to plan these things because you just don't know when that sort of overwhelming burnt out feeling is going to come and hit you. But so you can't really schedule breaks like that. And then when you do, other stuff comes up, you know, you end up working regardless. And it's very difficult to switch off, I think. But when it gets to this point and it comes to a head, rather than push on and risk everything, he's taken a step back, and I really respect it. He says, I can't express how grateful we are to have such an awesome fan base. I've met a fair few of you over the years, and those encounters have genuinely restored my faith in humanity. You are all sound as fuck. Me and the boys are burnt out and we need this time. Thank you for always sticking by us. It's a brilliant message and really, really important. I think it's a great example, actually, for other people who are coming up, you know. Because I always think that, like you know, that there used to be a thing in the UK, at least, where every band that was unsigned and sort of flirting with record labels and things, it always seemed like the goal was to become a signed band, and then you'd be able to say to the pub, yeah, I'm in a band, yeah, signed, yeah, yeah, and it would be like that seemed to be the sort of barometer for success, and it was definitely like the first objective. But actually, that's, you know, getting signed is when the real work starts, and and leading up to that point is just such a struggle that it can be. You know, the workload gets overwhelming, and you sort of you bring that sort of struggle into the early part of your signed music career, you know. So here's some information about Sam Fender. He's 28 years old. He's been acclaimed by critics and musicians for his songwriting proficiency. I think I'm one of the critics that's acclaimed him. I think he's brilliant. He started out as a singer-songwriter around about the age of 14 and subsequently released several singles independently, being named one of the BBC's Sound of 2018. In 22, he received the Brit Award for Best British Alternative Stroke Rock Act. I didn't know that was a category. I'm glad it is, though. And the Ivor Novello Award for Best Song Musically and Lyrically. The Ivor Novello Awards, in my view, they're probably the only ones that really matter, because I think whoever the board is that decides who gets what with the Ivor Novellos, they always get it right. I've never seen somebody achieve an Ivor Novello who I haven't thought, well, yeah, that's richly deserved, you know. They always go to the right places. So for him to win one of those is a great indication of how brilliant he actually is, you know. Both of his albums, 2019's Hypersonic Missiles and 2021's 17, going under top the UK charts, with the latter shortlisted for the Mercury Music Prize. The Mercury Music Prize, I would say that's less important. I think there's a panel of about 12 people that decide how to award that one. But it is a good indication of sort of an underground excitement, you know. And the Mercury Prize, there's always stuff on the shortlist that I think probably should have won it. With the exception of when Dizzy Rascal won it, I thought that was the right thing. So yeah, good work, Sam Fender. I mean, let's use this comment section to discuss this, because my view is that whilst it seems like it's a really privileged position to be doing what you love at a huge level, playing to enormous numbers of people and basically living your dream, it comes at a cost, you know. And I think it's actually quite traumatic to achieve any sort of success. When you speak to any sort of lawyer in the music trade, that they're concerned about two things. They're concerned about protecting you from failure and also protecting you from success. And I think emotionally, that's something that you need to do as well. You have to brace yourself for seismic life changes, and whether it's for better or worse, they create stress, you know, and you have to be aware of how it's affecting you and try your best to navigate those dangers on a mental health level. Because you do end up doing things like drinking too much alcohol, using drugs, and it's not a coincidence that there's a lot of drugs associated with the music trade. I think people self-medicate when their life changes, and also it's a party that never seems to end and is in no way depressing until it is, and then you're in a lot of trouble when that happens. I'm really happy that he's taken this decision. I mean, he's past the dangerous 27 years old, but I think this is a really smart move, and I really respect it, and I hope he gets the rest he deserves and hits back much stronger. Well done, Sam. Lots of love to you and yours. Look after yourself. Awesome stuff. And I think Sam Fender's fan base, which includes myself, I'm confident that this is going to be something that helps him kick on and write even more great music and do good stuff, do some uplifting stuff. Justin Hawkins writes again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these 2 videos, and listen to the music of Sam Fender. You won't be disappointed. Cheers.